The LA Chargers make the trek for the fourth time this year to a game that will be played at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock body clock time for the Chargers. I assume they're used to it by now. They're favored by 3 points over the Jaguars, who blew a 19-point lead against the Texans last weekend and are now 5-4 and need this one badly. The Chargers cruising at 7-3. Do they cruise into Duval and get a win?
I expect them to. How can you pick the Jaguars right now? I think that's what I would say to you. It's just like, how? Logically, how can you go, well, I think this is the week that they'll do it, right? They're not playing great on either side of the ball. The Chargers right now have it going on in just about every department except for protecting Justin Herbert. That's the big thing. The Chargers will be able to move the ball on the Jaguars' defense. That's not a question either. It's just that with the Jaguars, it's a question of, can you protect the ball, right? They got some playmakers. They got some creative scheme and things they do on that defensive side of the ball, right? It's not always necessarily the soundest thing you'll see on defense, which is why we see teams make big plays and do things on them, right? But at the same time, it's also why they're one of the league leaders in turnovers and intercepting the ball and causing fumbles and doing all of that, right? But the Chargers are going to move the ball. And then, the other thing, too, is, as I always tell you, like the Jaguars, solid running team, nothing special. And then that gets into throwing the ball, and you know my thoughts about throwing the ball with the Los Angeles Chargers. You're not going to make a living doing it. It's arguably the best pass defense in football with the way it's coached with Jesse Minter. I'm going to go Chargers 30-20 in this one.
Hey, if Aaron Rodgers can't throw against the Chargers defense, Trevor Lawrence can't either. And, we watch those games every week, and there's 1, 2, 3 moments per game where Trevor does something that makes you wonder how he was the first overall pick in the draft and how he got that second contract. And I'm sorry, that's not harsh, that's fair. There's that capacity to do something that makes you say, what was he thinking when he did that? And you have to factor that into the assessment of any game that the Jaguars play.
And then it becomes, we got to justify him as the number one pick, so let's pay him like one of the top guys in football right now. Let's do it. Nobody else would pay him that, but because we're going to justify it so we can protect our own ass like Chris Greer and let's say even the Packers with Jordan Love. You can say that too, but Tua down in Miami. Let's do that and mess up our whole team and overpay him. Let's do it. Awesome. Wow, way to go. And it's just stupid. It's one of my, of course, one of my pet peeves. You've heard me rant about 70 times this year already.
Well, and then you pay for it when that guy is there.
Exactly.
And you got no way out. You got to try to make chicken salad.
Right.
And again, Trevor Lawrence is not bad.
Right.
But there are moments where, like, he can do very great things. But there are those moments every game where it's like, man, ooh, what was that?
Yeah.
And that all it takes is one of those to turn a win into a loss.
Exactly
Just
right.
one. Ooh, what was that? Can end a game.
He'll throw
I got
two in this one.
24-17 the Chargers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
And I think the Chargers go in and they get their win and they move to 8-3. And it's at the point where for both the Chargers and the Rams, and I need to write this, I need to plant this flag so people are aware of it. The NFL, in theory, could have a problem on Championship Sunday because there may be two games played in the same stadium.
That would be amazing.
I remember in 2008, it looked like it was going that way for the Jets and the Giants because remember the Giants, before the Plexico Burress unfortunate incident in Manhattan with the gun and the sweatpants or there was a dispute over whether it was sweatpants or jeans. Either way, the gun went off, and that turned everything around for the Giants. And the Jets were good that year until the Thursday night game. What did it against the Titans? The Thursday night, they won a big game, and it's like they're going to be the number one seed, and then it all fell apart after that.
Yeah, it wasn't. That was us against
the Titans.
It wasn't a Thursday night. They did beat us. I was on that Titans team. We hadn't lost a game. We were 10-0, and they came in at maybe 8-2. And beat us there, right? But yeah, you're right. That was Brett Favre and company, and you thought it might do it. Listen, there was a scenario like that in 1986 between the Giants and the Jets too. The Giants were 10-2. The Jets were, I think, 11-1, right? And it was like, oh my gosh, are the Giants and the Jets both going to go to the Super Bowl this year? Funny how it works out that way, but it would be interesting if that little dilemma came up on the NFL there.
I think what would happen is, I know we got to get to the next game. If that would ever happen, they would play one game on Sunday, the next one on Monday, and they'd realize, based upon the ratings, we need to do this every year. We need to have Sunday night, Monday night conference championship games.
Yo. Thanks for watching, homies. We are now in the NFL season here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, game recaps, film deep dives, and much, much more.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe, rate, review. Peace out. You know where to find us.